Marriage is something that is worth looking up to. Now, if you're like me, who had always dreamt of getting married and starting a family immediately, and then finally you meet that special someone, you take your love to the altar, you get married, and pretty much settle down in the hopes of starting to raise a family. But then, month after month, year after year, that big news of a pregnancy seems evasive. It's not coming, and you're almost kind of like losing hope. You're kind of almost kind of like losing your mind. If you're in that kind of position, I can completely relate with you, because my wife and I had to go through a process, of waiting for like 6 years before our son finally arrived. Now, maybe you're someone who you're looking for materials, you know somebody who fits this description, and you're looking for materials with which to encourage that person, send them love, give them hope. You are also in the right place. Now, in this video, what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be sharing with you how we're able to cope with the delay in pregnancy, despite the fact that we had always we agreed even before we got married that we're going to hit the ground running by raising children, by having a home full of love, joy, happiness, and laughter. But then, years down the line, month after month, nothing happened. And so, if you're wondering, if you're that kind of person, and you're looking for materials with which to encourage someone, right? You are indeed in the right place. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how we're able to cope. How we're able to cope with delayed pregnancy in marriage, and then we have to make the most of our reality. I'm also going to be sharing with you how purpose in marriage helped us to navigate through that path. My name is Henry Kumba, and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. Now, if you missed my first video where I did state what this channel is going to be all about from here on out, then I'm going to be leaving a link in the description below, and so click on it so you can know what to expect from this channel. Right now, it's been a week since I first made a post regarding what I'm going to be doing on this channel going forward, and I'm encouraged by the number of likes, the number of subscriptions. Please keep them coming. It encourages me. It lets me know that somebody out there appreciates what I'm doing and is really getting hope, and which is the main thing, which is the main drive, which is the main desire that I want to, my main goal for starting this channel. And so please keep the comments coming. If you learned anything, if this any of my videos inspired you, or you can relate with some of the stories and you've come out of it, please let me know in the description, and so we can connect. Or I just kind of like mention it as I make my videos here going forward. Now, if you've not yet subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and also turn on the notification, so each time I post a new video, I'm going to post in new materials every Friday. Every Friday? Yeah, every Friday. But who says I can post more than one video every Friday? YouTube totally allows that, right? And so I can post more than one material. So I can just make a video, and randomly post, but then be sure you're going to be getting new material every Friday on this channel. So let's get started. Marriage is a lifelong commitment. I like to see marriage more like a spiritual and emotional union more than it is a physical union. In marriage, you grow. Marriage helps you to grow in selflessness. Selflessness because you no longer live unto yourself, but you're constantly seeking ways to be a better person and to see the other person also get better. Marriage gives you a lifetime partner, someone you can build into the future with, because pretty much at some point you'd realize you're getting better results as a team than alone. Marriage affords you the opportunity to grow, right? I've experienced the good times and the bad times in marriage. One of the bad times is the reason why I'm actually inspired to start this video, which is the delay in pregnancy. But one thing I've noticed, that in those challenging moments, we've matured, we've grown together, because it wasn't about the other person, it was about us now. So we had to face that challenge together, and we came out better, and we came out stronger. And so marriage afforded me that opportunity. Another thing marriage did for me was that it eliminated loneliness from my life. Marriage eliminated loneliness completely. That feeling of having someone, to come back home to, want to come back home to. You give love and you receive the same in return. You give care, you receive the same in return. Always trying to outdo the other person in loving and caring for them. Marriage provided me that opportunity, and it is one I do not take for granted. Now, what do I mean by we had delays in marriage, in childbearing? We got married, right? And like I said, my plan had always been, right from time, my plan had always been, immediately we get married, I'm gonna start having babies, right? Now, I found someone who shared the same vision as I did. And so we got married, and immediately we got married, we just kind of like started hoping and expecting for children. Of course, you know what you have to do to expect babies. That was happening. But then, month after month, nothing happened. And then the month became a year. The year became years, and nothing happened. But we kept on hoping, we kept on trying. But in as much as nothing came, we were not deterred. We just kept the hope alive, and we found newer and better ways to make the most of our reality. Now, one thing that helped us navigate through that period was purpose. We knew what we wanted, and because we knew what we wanted, we were always out to get it. And though it delayed, we knew that somehow, somewhere, because we had it in our core, because we had it in our foundation, because we had agreed on this, we knew that somewhere down the line it was going to happen. It was just a matter of when. And so purpose, actually helped us. Now, one thing that you need to understand is that marriage serves a number of purposes, depending on the perspective that you look at it. Marriage serves a number of purposes. And we went through, I'm just going to take you through some of the purposes that we held there and we worked on, and that helped us, carry on through that period. One of which is marriage serves the purpose of protection, right? Our marriage pretty much kind of like protected us, not just us, but protected the other person as well, in ensuring that you kept to your vows, you kept to your promises, protecting the other person by being truthful. It provided protection by humility, provided protection by giving us trust. You trusted the other person, and that they were going to keep to their promises. And so marriage helped that. And so we understood that the purpose for marriage was protection. So because we knew that it was protection, we were always conscious of the fact that we had made vows. We had made a vow to be with this person for better or for worse, And so even when it wasn't happening, we knew that because of the vow we had made, we had to, encourage ourselves, be there for one another, and ensure that we walked and navigated through this path together. Another purpose that kept us in was the purpose of completeness. The purpose of completeness. We became one vision, one body, one heart, one mind, one purpose, and our strategies were the same. And so the way we felt about virtually everything was the same. And so we were complete. We completed each other, complementing each other, completing ourselves, and moving, spurring on, even as the odds were stacked against us. And so that was another purpose that was embedded, because we had this at the core when we set out. And so we always had something to fall back to, right? We always had something to fall back to when it came to the purpose in our marriage. Now understand that no one single purpose. Marriage is not meant to serve one single purpose, and that's why I said it depends on the perspective that you're looking at it from. Marriage does not serve one singular purpose. Now, and also another thing that another purpose that helped us was the purpose of enjoyment. We made up our minds that we were going to get married, and we're going to enjoy our marriage. And so even when things didn't happen the way we anticipated, even when things didn't happen the way we wanted them to, we never let go of the fact that we're meant to enjoy our marriage. We never let go of that fact that we're meant to enjoy our marriage. Why? Because those couple moments, those moments we shared, the memories, the good times that we shared, we always brought them to the core, to the fore. So each time we sat to have couple moments, we always remembered that, we made up our, we were going to enjoy. And so there were a lot of moments of laughter, funny things that happened while we were still dating, before we got married, while we were single. We always had that one-on-one time where we sat to discuss and talk. And so we enjoyed our marriage because it's the core. Enjoyment is one of the core values that you have to place on marriage. Okay, it's one of the core values that you've got to place on your marriage. And so it was one of the purpose that helped us navigate. And then another thing, it was companionship. Giving love, receiving, knowing that you've got to stand by, knowing that you have somebody who has your back, someone who celebrates your successes as much as you celebrate theirs. And so I would always say that no one celebrates my success like I celebrate, like my wife celebrates it. Nobody celebrates my success, and I try as much as possible to do the same. Celebrate her successes, try to see how she can be better, and she also tries to see how I can also be better. And so that was one of the things that we did that actually helped. And then another thing we did was that we never stopped treating the other person like we did when we were still dating, right? We never stopped treating. We're always looking for newer ways to love that person. Why? Because you just have to keep the fire burning, because love is like a fire, and you need to constantly stoke it with combustible materials, or else it will naturally burn out. And so we kept stoking our fire. We kept stoking the fire of our love, and treating the other person better. It was like we're still dating. And so for those of you who follow me on Facebook, you know what I'm talking about, because some of those things I wrote on my page about my wife are my deep meditations, are things that happen, my joy, my happiness, throughout those periods, and it has never changed, and it will never change. Another thing we did was that we looked into the mirror. We were not pointing accusing fingers. When it did not happen, that period when it had not happened, pregnancy had not happened, and even before we approached any medical facility to seek help, we were not imagining in our minds if the other person was the one with the medical challenge, and that was the reason why we were not. Our confession had always been a positive one. The fact that there was nothing wrong with us. Okay, there was nothing wrong with us. And so though we didn't relegate the desire or the dream of having babies, we didn't push it to the background. No, we didn't. What we just did was that we're here now, and we're going to enjoy our marriage. That was all pretty much what we did. And another thing we did was that we let go of thinking too much about the kind of home we wanted to start. We let go about it. We let go about thinking about that, right? We let go about it completely, because the marriage we hoped for, the marriage we had planned for, was one that 4 years down the line, we had a minimum of 2 children, and the third one could come, somewhere in the 5th or 6th year. That was our plan. But here we were in 6 years, and nothing had happened yet. You can imagine what would be going through our minds if we had not held on to each other. So what we did at that point in time was that we let go of the kind, and then we made the most. We had our mind set on making the most of our reality. That was another thing that helped. Now, another purpose for marriage is fruitfulness, right? We had it in the core that we're going to be fruitful. Now, sometimes when you talk about fruitfulness in marriage, the first thing that comes in mind is procreation, reproduction, giving birth to children, raising children and all. That is good, but that is not the core. We knew from time that wasn't the core, because like I said earlier, no one single purpose serves as the reason for marriage. Not a single purpose. And so we didn't hinge the purpose of our marriage on childbearing. We saw fruitfulness. We knew we were going to be fruitful. But we didn't see fruitfulness only from the standpoint of marriage. You could see fruitfulness in the standpoint of your career, making progress in your career, breaking new grounds, enjoying life, fulfilling your purpose on earth. That's being fruitful, because if you look at it from scripture, that is pretty much what it means. It was a responsibility, not just giving birth and filling everywhere. If you lay so much emphasis on the fact that God said, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, subdue it, fill the earth and all. But remember that in that same chapter, he did say the same thing to the birds and to the fishes, to also multiply and fill the earth. And so he couldn't have been talking. What fruitfulness means is a responsibility. Fruitfulness is a responsibility. Fruitfulness, I repeat, is indeed a responsibility. Okay? And so we knew that we're going to be fruitful, but we didn't narrow it down to just childbearing. And so we celebrated every of our successes as being fruitful. We set out to accomplish something, we got it done, sometimes even beyond what we had imagined. Bam, we are fruitful. That was all there was to it. And so we did place that, because unless and until you have the core, the purpose of your marriage on lockdown, you're going to be running from pillar to post without really making progress, right? There's going to be a lot of movement without actually making progress, if you understand what I mean. And so maybe you're in that position and you're wondering, what is it you're doing wrong? Perhaps you've not really sat down to talk about your purpose. Now, when you talk about purpose in marriage, understand this, that if you don't have it locked down, you're going to be making lots and lots of mistakes. Why? Let's take someone who takes fruitfulness as the core purpose for their marriage, or a couple who takes fruitfulness as the core purpose for their marriage. And so a few years down the line, nothing has happened yet, right? Nothing has happened yet. You feel like a failure. Or someone who takes security, protection as the core for their marriage. Now, once resources become lean and the other person is unavailable, you feel lonely, and you feel insecure, because you think that is the core. That is the core purpose for your marriage, but that isn't it. And so you just have to have all these things together. Your purpose actually might be different from ours, but you need to understand what purpose is. Which brings me to the issue of the importance of marriage counseling. Maybe you're married and you didn't go through the counseling process, right? I would advise that you do that, because in our marriage, one thing that has helped us is going back to the notes we took when we did our marriage counseling. The notes we took, and those notes, it's my go-to. It used to, and it still is my go-to place when I need direction on something. I had never been married before, I had always known that I want to be married, so I had never been married before. And so some of the information I got while going through that counseling is one thing that has kept me, is one thing that has helped us, is one thing that has actually shaped our perspective on marriage. And we pulled a lot of strength from those materials, from those notes we took from the books we were given to read, right? And so we took a lot of we pulled a lot of strength, and still till this day my premarital counseling note is my go-to place. So maybe you're married and you didn't go through counseling, and that's the reason why you're putting so much pressure on yourself regarding the fact that you're yet to achieve pregnancy in your marriage. Marriage isn't about fruitfulness, because unless you understand protection, you understand companionship, right? You understand protection, you understand companionship, you understand what other purpose did I talk about? Okay, let's look at it now. You understand purpose. What am I saying? You understand companionship, you understand completeness, you understand enjoyment. Which other purpose is that? You understand protection. Unless you understand these four things, right, you will fail at fruitfulness, if fruitfulness to you is all about giving birth to children. and reproducing. You will fail at it. I'll tell you why. If you don't understand protection, then you get fruitful. Who protects those children? Right? If you don't understand companionship, who provides companionship to those children? If you don't understand completeness, who provides completeness when you finally get fruitful and you give birth to children? Are you bringing them to this world just for the sake of bringing them to the world, or what? Right? And so unless you understand these things, if you understand fruitfulness only from the standpoint of giving birth to children, then you need to first and foremost get these other purposes on lockdown. Once you have them on lockdown, then you're bringing children into your purpose, and then it becomes easy for them to feel it. And so these are some of the things that we're able to do. These are some of the things that we held on to while we're believing God to get for believing God and waiting to get pregnant. These were some of the things that we held on to. And so I'd like to know if you learned something from this video. I'd like to know if you could relate with some of the things I've said. So leave me a comment in the comment section. And like I said, if you've not subscribed to this channel yet, please click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification so that each time I post something new, you're going to be one of the first to get notified of my new materials. And like I said, I'm going to try as much as possible to always post new videos every Friday. But then, hey, YouTube does not have a limit to how many videos I can post. So I might just pop in the middle of the week and post something. So you don't want to miss out on it. So please click on the notification button. Leave me a comment. Let me know how you feel about this video. They mean a lot to me, and then it shows me that somebody out there is listening, and I'm making the impact that I set out to make at the beginning. So thank you so much. See you again on Friday. But I want you to know that miracles take a little time, and you're not alone. From me, it's bye-bye.